What's up, everybody? I'm back with another episode of the Keep Going podcast. Today's guest is Bryan Pearson. He's a bison photographer from Oklahoma. In this episode, we discuss his journey on how he got into this field, why the bison is so important to him, what it's been like getting integrated into native culture, his favorite place in the world in New Mexico. We even talk about his first powwow experience when he was filming but was brought into the circle, got to eat with elders, and just had a magical experience. We get to talk about some fun stories we've had, where he took me out to the Concho buffalo herd and we did a cedar blessing, and I just enjoyed this episode so much. Bryan's a wealth of knowledge, his work is impeccable, and I hope you all enjoy this episode. As always, keep going. I appreciate you coming on, Bryan.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I can't thank you enough for coming through like you did. For the listeners, we came into contact with each other. I reached out, wanted to do the podcast, which you graciously accepted because first we hopped on a call and we had similar mindset.
Right.
And then you called me the week I found out my Uncle Harvey Pratt died. And you said, hey, I'm going out to the Concho buffalo herd. Would you like to go? It's the Cheyenne tribe. And I'm like, at first, because sometimes when stuff comes to me so fast, I get nervous and want to like push it off. I want to prepare.
Right.
And you text me on a Saturday morning.
I was going within a few hours. I didn't give you a whole lot of notice.
It was 9 a.m. and you're like, hey, at noon. And I was like, I think.
But you had the history there. I mean, which I didn't know at the time.
Yeah. I was like, is this my ancestors telling me to go? So I go and meet you. And our first time meeting each other, as soon as we locked eyes, just happy, hopped in the truck with Tommy. Or not Tommy.
Tommy. Yep.
Tommy. Okay. So,
Tommy Bear Trek. Mm-hmm.
And us three drove back there, looked at the buffalo, and I'm telling you all, who I'm related to, what just happened. And Tommy knew because he helped with the funeral services. We were texting the day I went to the funeral service. And we had the most beautiful interaction with those buffalo. And I just wanted to publicly, and again, say thank you because I didn't know how meaningful it was going to be.
Well, it was really neat that when you brought the flutes out and you did the little ceremony.
How'd you feel with getting a sage ceremony? Get a blessing.
I've never had that, and it was pretty neat. It was.
Did you feel like it was
touching,
helping you release?
Yeah. It was very interesting and calming.
It felt good for me to extend that to you. The thing that got me was blessing Tommy. Mm-hmm. And since I am native, but I grew up in the city away from natives,
right?
Sometimes, even though I push through it because I believe in myself and I trust myself, there's a little moment where I'm like, should I be blessing this guy that's more native?
Right.
But I've talked to so many elders and they're like, it doesn't matter what percent, but I feel honored to bless you for the first time. And then I turn to Tommy, who's probably been blessed his whole life. And I'm like, he wants it as well. And it felt really moving for me. And then it also meant a lot for me to get my own ceremony and you all observe, but respectfully, which was really powerful to me. Something that stood out that I couldn't really notice when I was doing it because I'm kind of in not a trance, but a different state. You said all the buffalo left while we did the ceremony and then came right back.
They did. When you started playing the flute, they came back in, which I've never seen before. It was almost like they were wandering around, and then when you started playing, they stopped. They absolutely stopped and turned and looked. And then as you were playing, it took a little bit, a couple minutes, and then they started moving around again, and you said, I'm going to grab the higher pitch. Flute. Mm-hmm. And you grabbed it and they stopped again. And that time they stopped a little bit longer, which I've never seen.
How many were out there, you think?
350?
Because it was a good amount.
Yeah, 250 to 350. There was a lot. That's probably the most I've seen out there in Concho in one place because they do spread out some. But that was the most in one place. And then while we were there, you noticed out to the south, more came in.
Over that
came
ridge.
across that little land bridge across by the pond. Yeah, more came through. It's an incredible herd. And what they're doing out there in Concho with their herd is different than most places are doing. They are cleaning up the bloodlines because
I remember you telling me that, you and Tommy.
Yeah, the history of, bison, they were almost killed off, and they were the troops, the U.S. troops were killing off bison to try to conquer the natives because the bison were the lifeline.
Yeah, I mean, they followed the herds.
They did. They followed them. They used every ounce of them from tools to hides to clothing to food. There was nothing that was wasted.
Wasn't it interesting too when they ran up in the herd and they were almost silent? I was like, how scary is that? What if it was nighttime? Like there was maybe 15 of them that ran by the truck.
Yep.
And it was quiet. I was like, these agile creatures. And what was different, because you've had a lot of experiences, but when we went, you're like, man, this time feels different because we were touching them and stuff. Like, why do you think it was, or not why, but what were the ways that you think it was different from what you normally do?
Because typically I'll pick up feed on the way out there, the little pellets, and Tommy will spread them out, and then so they'll come in, so they're close enough for me to take photos. And I've fed a couple of them, but I mean they were really coming around.
They were all up on us,
and it was after the ceremony.
Yeah, because at first they were kind of around, but then they got in, and I was trying not to get too comfortable. Obviously, because they're still big animals, but there was a lot, and they were circling in. And going back to the ceremony, how it was so crazy is it was so natural that they just backed off.
They did. They kept their distance. I was getting ready to say that.
They're like, respect.
They did. They kept their distance, and they turned and they looked, which was interesting because every time I go out there, Tommy and I just walk around, take photos. And he was just different. It really was.
I was very thankful, one, that you were receptive to it, and two, that you all allowed me to bring my items. I mean, as you saw when we parked, I even asked Tommy, I was like, do you mind if I bring some items? Right. Because I don't ever want to assume that I'm good to do whatever I want to do. I always want to ask permission. And he was like, yeah, come on. And then we have that ceremony, burn sage, have the eagle feather, play the flutes. And it was really powerful, and I appreciated that we were all three able to connect. And it was cool because usually it's kind of 50-50, but there's a lot of people I have on the podcast that I may know, or if I am just meeting them, we get to talk a little before or something like that. But it's turned into having activity time before. So like I met with Lou Renova one time, and we got to shoot for 2 hours, and then we did a pod.
Lou's a great guy.
He's great.
He is.
He's going to come back on in the future, so I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But that day, you didn't have to invite me, and I also didn't have to accept, and I did, and it just gave us so much connection. That's why I was happy to see you today. I was like, obviously I know you, but it's like, man, we shared some stuff together. Yeah,
but there was a lot that went on that day. There was a lot that went on.
Before we go to the comedy part of it, I wanted to say one last thing. It was really sweet and meaningful with what you said in the back seat, and I don't remember verbatim, but I just remember you giving your grace for what we did. And then Tommy looking at me, and I'm not saying I'm some perfect person, but he was like, you're like a young elder. I like what you're doing, or something like that. And I was like I told you earlier when I was talking about like powwow culture and things, I always want to just make sure I'm doing things the right way.
The respectful way, yeah.
The respectful way. And it felt like very honorable to hear it. And I was like, okay, maybe it is okay that I offer Bryan his first blessing. Maybe I need to continue to be more me. But as far as the funny side, that 7-Eleven, they're all numbered for the listeners. And there was this one 7-Eleven, and
he had eye problems.
We'll say whatever, but Bryan's comfortable because he does this a lot.
And I'm probably too comfortable, honestly.
You were sitting crisscross, just
I was out in the middle of the herd.
Photographers are laying down. You're in the herd, and that 7-Eleven came up and got within how close?
I was sitting there with the camera to my face, and I was taking photos of the bison, and I put my camera down and looked up and noticed that they had formed a U around me.
Yeah, they were like barricading you.
Yeah, they were holding me, and I look back and the truck's behind me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get up and I can see the truck. I can get to the truck because, I mean, you do have to have a little bit of a respectful fear of them. Mm-hmm. And I think that I've probably gotten too comfortable with them, especially without her, because I'm out there quite a bit with Tommy. And I stand up and I turn to my right to go back to the truck, and there's 7-Eleven standing right in front of me, probably 6 feet in front of me. And you don't run. I mean, because they do run 35, 40 miles an hour. So I can't outrun them. And he has eye problems. I can see that his eye, he had cataract. I mean, he had eye problems. Yeah, both eyes. And so he snorts and lunges at me. And so I'm like, oh, crap, this isn't good. And as he lunges, he comes a foot closer. So now he's like at 5 feet, 6 feet. And so I stand there and I raise my hand up. I kind of yell at him so you can kind of show that you're bigger than you are, even though, I mean, I'm nowhere close to as big as that bison was. And he snorts and lunges a second time. And so now I'm really, this is probably one of the only times I've ever been really fearful. Yeah. Because I mean, I was, this thing could destroy me in a matter of seconds. And so I raise my hands up and I yell again. And he does it one more time and he snorts and lunges at me again. And he is 4 feet from me. I mean, I am looking eye to eye with this thing, and I know I can't run and get away. And so I yell one last time. And for some reason, he decides to turn his head and walk away. So then I'm able to
breathe.
Breathe for a couple minutes and then walk back to the truck. And I'm standing behind the truck. You're in the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy is standing on the side step, whatever.
With the door open.
Yeah, with the door.
Which I was worried.
He's standing inside
the
door with the door coming.
I was like, if they crunch him?
Yes. I said, Tommy, that's a horrible idea.
I think our part is smarter.
Yeah. And so I'm standing back there and I see 7-Eleven over here next to the truck, and I'm keeping an eye on him. And he starts trotting around the front of the truck. And I'm like, why is he running in front of the truck? And he's coming around because he sees me and he's coming after me. And so I jump into the bed of the truck with you. And that thing, he was on it. He was standing there looking at us.
That was the funny part, is after he chased you the second time, he backed up and then just kind of gave us the side eye for like 20 minutes.
But you could see as he's walking through the herd, those other bison know what he's all about.
He's a little feisty.
He is feisty, and he irritates them, and they all kind of stayed away from him. They went away when he would walk close to him. So you're like, okay, he's got some history with this.
It's wild, the contrast though, because he was going crazy, and then that other one, the mama, was like in love with you because you were feeding her, obviously.
I was feeding her,
but she was getting really close.
She was, and I've got video of her just eating out of my hand. And there was one time that the cuff on my shirt was wet because my entire hand was inside of her mouth because she just took the whole thing.
Yeah, her tongue would curl.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You had said,
and you really don't want to be around bison that close, but that's a herd that I've been comfortable with. I've been out a lot, and they are around people a lot. You wouldn't want to do that at Tallgrass. You wouldn't want to do that at the Wichita Mountains.
No, you wouldn't be that close.
You need to stay clear, but
that was,
I think that's why I've gotten too comfortable with them, probably.
No, it makes sense because in the Wichitas, I'm always keeping my space.
Yes.
And that's why I think I was not overwhelmed in a bad way, but pretty stimulated because they were, I mean, sometimes they were closer than like the walls in here.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're within 3-4 feet of you.
But it was magical. It was worth it. And you've been all over taking pictures of bison and wildlife. And you said that day was different. What was another reason you felt that the connection? Because you've been around them so much. And I know I know the ceremony was great, but what were you feeling to make it different if you've done it so much? You would think you'd get numb to it.
It's the closeness, how close they are, because you're interacting with them rather than just taking a photo. Like, I went to Yellowstone last January and got some amazing shots, but I wasn't that close to them. I mean, I have a long lens.
How far are you?
25, 30 yards probably. But
still pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, these, you can reach out and touch their head. I mean, it's just, it's
that was the first time I felt a live one like that. I was like, oh.
They have that stiff, bristly hair on
But you wanted to touch them. You wanted to feel it.
Yeah. They're just, it was
just that close.
It was the closeness of them. I mean, there's a bond almost. And I have that one photo where I have my head against the bison's head, and
I remember that.
Yeah, it's just,
and
that was out there.
We couldn't find that one that day, right?
No,
that's what I thought.
No, it was like I said, it's just the closeness of it, is the bond, the eating out of your hand, and that just doesn't happen in other places.
Man, I say all that to say thank you for the experience.
Thank you for coming out. It was an experience having you out there, like we've never had before.
I was talking to somebody, and they were telling me, at the end, when I'm looking at my life, there's a couple memories that stand out. Mm-hmm. And since then, I've just focused on trying to make as many of those. And that was one of those times where it was like, okay, so yes, it's Saturday morning and you're relaxing. Are you going to go out in the cold and just do it for a moment? And
are you going to make a memory?
And I'll never regret it.
Yeah.
So before we move on, I know I said it a million times, but in my spiritual walk and my cultural walk, I'm going to remember that as a piece. So I appreciate you being a part of it.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming out.
Yes, sir. And so, of course, I came across by seeing your photos and things. Mm-hmm. So is that something you're always passionate about? Or can you tell me how you got into photography and wildlife photography and why the bison is so important?
So I originally bought a camera because I had young children. And so I wanted to take photos just for memories. And I started taking photos of them. And then I started, kind of learning different things about photography. And I saw some photos of macro photography, like insects, like really close up macro. And so I used to go out after everybody was in bed, asleep, like at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when the bugs are out. And I would walk around the house and, and you have your porch lights on and stuff. And so that's what attracts the bugs. And so I would take macro photography photos of insects. And so I just kind of slowly moved into bigger animals that I didn't, have to shoot at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I could do it in the middle of the day.
But always wildlife was what you gravitated towards?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I've done some portrait, I've done a little bit stuff here and there, some senior photos and stuff, but it's the animals, it's the wildlife that I have the passion for. And so I've done.
Why is that, you think? Because I've followed quite a few people online that specialize in that, even people that'll sit in tents for 16 hours to get a picture of a wolverine or something.
Yeah.
What is it? Why is it so stimulating and I guess fulfilling?
It's going to sound terrible, but I would much rather be around an animal than a person. They're easier to work with.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there, you're by yourself, you're not with anybody else for the most part, and it's peaceful. It's quiet, and you're kind of into your art.
It has to teach you like another level of stillness.
It does.
Because you have to wait. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're like, hey, bison, cheese. Uh-huh. You're like sitting.
And you do. You have to wait for that moment. I could tell you, okay, we'll move this to here to there, and we take your picture and everything's good. As an example, I used to shoot for the zoo. I used to be a zoo photographer, and I went into the gorilla enclosure one day, and I have a rubber lens hood, so you put it straight up to the glass so you don't have glare. And I walked up, didn't have my camera, and a big silverback male yawned, and it looks like he's screaming, and you can see his teeth. I was like, oh my gosh, and I yawned last, a second or two. I didn't have my camera. And so there's people all around. And so I get my camera out and he's leaning against the wall. So I put my camera and the hood against the glass, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for him to yawn again. And, moms and dads and their kids are saying, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm waiting for him to yawn. And I sat there with my camera to my face up against there for 30 minutes.
Then he yawned.
Until he yawned, and then I got the shot. So it's patience. And if everybody that's watching this podcast knows me, I don't have patience.
Except for that.
Except for when I'm doing photography.
When you said you're in your art, I bet in that moment you don't even feel like you're waiting that long. Mm-hmm. You're like, I'll wait forever.
You did? Yeah. And I did the same thing at the Tulsa Zoo with a tiger, a little tiger cub. And I couldn't get the thing to sit still, And I'm sitting there just waiting. And I thought, well, I'm sitting there and I grab another lens and raise it above my head and just swing my lens. And he stopped. And he looked. I got about 5 shots and then he started moving again. But that was a 35-minute wait also.
So when you got into
Wildlife?
what would I say for the bugs? Because I always want to say photography, but I mean, like when you started taking photos of that, is that the only way to say it? Mm-hmm. I'm wanting this like simple word so I can quit stuttering over it. But when you started taking photos of the bugs and you progressed to other creatures, that was through the zoo first?
No, I kind of, the way I got into bison themselves is that I have a friend who is the CEO of a large corporation here in Oklahoma City, and they have a nonprofit, the Kimmel Foundation. And their, I guess you would call it their mascot, is the bison. And they're very passionate about it. My friend knows the history. I mean, he knows more information and collects bison collectibles. And so I started shooting bison, and then they asked me to shoot bison for them. And I just kind of progressed into 85% of what I do in photography is bison. So, I mean, I am truly, I call myself a bison photographer because that's the main thing I do. And they actually sent me to Yellowstone to get bison in the snow. So
when was that?
Last January 25.
And that was the first time you'd been to Yellowstone?
It's the first and only time I've been to Yellowstone. Yeah. And the feeling there was almost like the day that we were out in Concho.
It's just unreal, huh?
Yeah. Cause that's one of the birthplaces. I mean, that is the place for bison, Yellowstone.
In January. So was there a lot of closure with the winter and
It's
stuff?
it's usually the only way you can get in is through tours. And so they sent me on a tour, and there was 6 of us on this big giant snow coach. And so it was absolutely unbelievable. It was an experience. Like,
how many years had you been doing photography by then?
5 or 6, 5, 6, 7, somewhere on there.
So not fairly new, but kind of establishing yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Yellowstone for the first time last year.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Then I'm going back next year.
That's awesome.
I'm going next January again.
What about the bison do you think is special, since you get to see them so much in your perspective? Because I know there's so many reasons why they're special to someone. You were talking about native cultures using everything, all that. But to you personally, why do they speak to you? And I know you can't give me an absolute, but just how you're feeling about them.
There's a lot of bird photographers out there, which birds are fine, whatever. But bison, they're just a large animal. They're majestic. They are they're a national mammal in the United States. And then when you really look into the history of bison and how they were almost absolutely decimated, and then, I mean, I've read a book that, I mean, I'll get you the name of the book and the author, but I bought it when I was in Yellowstone, and I don't read a lot, and I read it cover to cover in like 3 or 4 days. I mean,
you actually mentioned it in Concho. You said you were going to give me a copy or something. You're like, I'll just give you my copy to read.
I need to get it to you. But it tells you the history of the slaughter, mainly to try to cripple the natives, and then the resurgence and all of the people, including Audubon, and I mean, all these people that really fought to bring them back. And it's an amazing story. And they were all but gone.
So how long have you been taking photos of bison now? 3, 4 years?
Yeah, probably 4 years.
So still fairly new. Can you take me through Yellowstone a little bit? What the snow coach, is it like a train, or is it like a 4-wheel vehicle, snowmobile? What is it?
It looks like a small bus that has tires as 5-foot tall tires. I mean, they're
tractor tires.
Yeah,
big old tractor
huge tires. Yeah. And you're just driving, on these snow-packed roads, and you have the snowmobile people come flying by you, but the wildlife. And the majority of a lot of the wildlife in Yellowstone is bison. I mean, there's a ton of bison.
So what happens when you come in? Did you come from the east side, south side, north side? Where?
We shot in different areas. The Hayden Valley, we shot there. Where else did we shoot? I can't think where else we shot.
Were those other people on the caravan shooting as well, or is it just you?
No, there were 6 of us that were
all people doing it. Oh, what a cool group, right?
It was a great time.
Yeah.
We would give each other advice, and I was the only one that really focused on bison. So, I had people asking me questions about bison, and I would see something that others wouldn't see. And so I would, yell at the bus driver, can we stop right here? And I would get out just because it's stuff that people don't think about. I mean, we had tons of bison coming down the road, laying in the snow in front of the snow coach, taking photos. And then as they get close, you have to get up and you have to get back in it because you can only be like 50 yards, 40 yards or something like that from bison. Take the photos, but then we went down, and as we're coming back, they're walking down the road, and I said, "Can we stop?" Because I was working on something for the Kimmel Foundation, and and I'm still working on it. I wanted the front to be them coming towards me, and the back cover of the thing, I wanted them walking away. So I had the vision in my head, and nobody else got out, and I got out and I laid down. And I started taking pictures of this long train of bison walking down the road. And for some reason, one of them at the back turns and looks at me like, see you later. And so I'm taking photos. So I had this one photo of all of them walking away except for one. And he stopped and turned to look at me, which it's a really cool shot.
You need to blow that up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What other animals did you see out there? Like elk and moose or?
We did see elk. I didn't get a shot of elk. We got lots of moose.
What's a moose look like in person? Because I know a bison's huge, but moose are way bigger.
They're bigger. They're a lot taller. And you have to, so in Yellowstone, you have I can't remember what they call them, but it's the regular animals. And then you have the ones that you have to be like wolves, and moose are in that category. You have to be
scared of them.
You have to be a long ways away from moose because they are dangerous and they're mean. So we did take pictures of those. We had an amazing wolf encounter with a pack of wolves.
What was it like? What happened?
We were driving, and that's kind of one of the main things you look for because wolves are
all over there.
They're not. There's not a ton of them there, and Yellowstone is so big. Can you
put it into perspective for me since I haven't been? You've been to the Wichitas, right?
Oh yeah.
So how many Wichitas is the Yellowstone?
Oh, it covers multiple states. I mean, it's massive.
So it'd be like
Yellowstone is massive.
I'm just trying to. So would it be like half of a state? Like would it be like half of Kansas is Yellowstone, or it's large?
It's very, very large. Yeah,
I've never
to the point where we shot 2 different areas and we shot in 2 different states. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So take me through the wolves. Sorry to cut you off.
So we're driving down, and everybody is always on the lookout for wolves because they are hard to find. Mm-hmm. And someone spots a wolf to our right up along this ridge. It's a black wolf.
Oh my gosh.
And so we go on down and we turn around, and I'm up front close to the driver, the tour, then the 2 guys that are leading the tour. And one of the guys that was leading the tour actually lives here in Oklahoma City. Oh. The other one's up in Oregon, Washington, something like that, who owns the actual company. And we turn around, and so the 4 of us are kind of talking. I'm like, okay, I think it's going up over this ridge. And then it kind of disappeared. And I said, we just need to go on down the road a little bit further and we'll cut them off. And so he was coming across, and then we go on down and we stop, and we get out of the snow coach, and he comes out, and then another one and another one and another one. And there's black and gray wolves. And
is that your first time seeing wolves, right?
Yeah, I've never seen wolves before.
I've never seen a wolf. Well, can I make you laugh?
Yeah.
I saw something that looked like a wolf in the Dell City backyard. I was like, there's no way they should have that. It looked like a Honda Civic.
And I'm trying to, you can have pet wolves, and it can only be 96 to 97% wolf.
It was like 97.
Yeah, and they're big.
So on that cliff, though, it had to look like a movie, how they're walking out, right?
It was pretty neat. And then they all came out. There was probably maybe 6 or 7 of them, and they're laying in the snow at the top of this hill. And so we're taking shots, and it is a long ways. They're a long ways away.
Like hundreds of yards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So those lenses you have can go.
Yeah, but and the pictures are not that great up there because they are a little blurry because it is so far. And so they started coming down, and they were going to cross across the road and into the valley where the Yellowstone River is.
Okay.
And so me and the head tour guide start walking down the road because they're going to come down probably a couple 100 yards ahead of us. And so we walk down and we see about where they're going to come across. So we lay down in the snow on our stomach and we start taking shots as they're coming across. And they're going down and they're going into the valley. And they're going down and going into the valley. And then a black and a gray, the last couple, come down and they turn. And they start walking down the road towards us. And so we're just snapping pictures. And they come probably within 50, 60 yards of us. So we're getting some amazing shots. And then we get up and we start going back to the snow coach.
How do you not get nervous with the 50 or 60? Do you just trust the process? You trust the art? You're like, no, I'm protected.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not looking to attack you. They're not wanting to eat you. I mean, so they start walking towards us and we get up and we start walking back to the snow coach. And, I get in and I drop my camera and immediately grab my Osmo, camera and I stick it to the window. So I had been inside the thing for 20 seconds and it trots by as I put the camera up next to it.
By the truck or the
by the coach. Yeah. So it was really close. And so then as they trot by, the last two go into, the valley, into the valley with the Yellowstone River. So we get back out and then they're just walking along the river. And so we got tons of shots, which was.
You'll have to show me some of these photos.
I will.
What is it like so did you grow up around a lot of wildlife or no?
No.
So seeing it.
I grew up here in Oklahoma City.
So growing up or being grown now as a full adult, like having these experiences, what is it like being so close to them? Because obviously you're comfortable. I'm sure you're a little nervous, but you're comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. In Yellowstone, I don't know that I was ever nervous.
Why?
I wasn't that close to them, except for those wolves, and they kind of got a little close, but I don't know.
It's just your calling.
I guess, because I was never nervous.
My friend takes pictures, and we were in the Wichita Mountains hiking, and he brought his camera, and we heard a rattlesnake, and it was the loudest I've ever heard. It was almost fake, because I had never heard one rattle.
Yeah.
In the movies or like from my family, they'll be like, no, you'll know when it's rattling.
Yeah.
It was so loud it seemed like someone had a speaker. But he was like laying down where your backpack is and where the rattlesnake.
About 10 feet. Yeah.
And he's taking pictures and he's like, come here and look. I said, no, just go and then I'll walk around and then you'll show me the picture. I'll look that one up to show you, but it's a black rattlesnake or blackish, black and brown. And it's curled up and it's like a different breed of person when you're locked into that. It's like you're sitting there laying down and you're so in the moment, so much trust in the moment that you're like, it's a weird feeling because it happens to me when I hike since I'm in some sketchy areas, but I'm like, you almost are accepting. And that's why you get those gifts where you get to see those wild animals because you're like, I'm accepting that it's risky, but you're getting so much art out of it.
Yeah. And that's the way it was when we were in Concho together. I was very comfortable and probably too comfortable. And I had lost my perspective of where they were. And I was just taking shots because I was so close to them. And then when I looked up, they were awful close.
It's like, man, they're within arm's reach almost.
Yeah, they were close. But yeah, it's, there's something about animals because there's a bond. I mean, I love one of the things I really like doing in wildlife photography is taking shots of them. But my favorite shot is when they look at you. And so you get the eyes looking at you and you have that bond with them. It's special.
What do you feel like when they're looking at you? Do you think it's
a connection?
Is it talking? Is it a message? Is it a feeling?
It's just this bonding connection type of eyes it's hard to explain.
That's why you said earlier with that bison that looked back, it was see you later. It's like I'm gracing you.
Because believe it or not, they know. I mean, they know, and they have a way of communicating, and that's the way they communicate.
It's so crazy.
It is.
Especially being in somewhere so raw like Yellowstone. I bet it was a totally different feel. Even though Concho was intimate, like they're almost a little more wild.
They are. They're fully wild.
Fully wild. So
yeah.
Even in the Wichitas, they seem close sometimes. So I get it. Oh, where else have you been to take pictures of them? Is it mainly in Oklahoma or have you been all over?
Yeah, it's mainly Oklahoma.
Where are the areas for Oklahoma?
Tallgrass Prairie up around Pawhuska is probably one of my favorite places outside of Concho. I love Concho and going out there with Tommy.
Do you take pictures of horses in Pawhuska too? Aren't there horses?
Yeah, but I have not.
You don't?
No.
Is that where the white bison is that you take pictures of?
No, that one is I have one white bison that I've shot, and he is out east of Tulsa on a private ranch. So I can go out, and his name's Bill. So I mean, a lot of times I have to push him away because he gets too close. He's very domesticated.
You're like
which is going to ruin my photos now on Instagram because now they're going to. I've shot up at the Modoc tribe in Miami. I found out that they had gotten some Yellowstone bison, some bulls, and I asked to go up there, and I had someone drive me around, kind of like Tommy does. And Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Concho, they have some Yellowstone bulls as well.
What's that process like then? You just genuinely reach out by email and just say, hey, I'd like to take pictures of your herd?
Yep, and I probably get a response 30-40% of the time probably. It's pretty welcoming. The Modocs, I have that white bison I shoot, the tall grass, Wichita Mountains, the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and then I've also shot at the White Bison Ranch down in eastern Texas.
And that's not white buffalo?
Yeah, there's probably, I don't know, 20 or so down there, but then they have some regular as well.
What are the white ones like to see in person? It's got to be kind of trippy, right?
It is. It's different.
It's like, are you like a spiritual creature? Like,
yeah. And what's funny is, I looked for years, like where are there white bison? Because the majority of them are bred that way. I mean, they're bred. The white ones are bred with a white cow.
So they're not full bison.
No, they're not. No, the ones
no white ones are.
I mean, there'll be one. Like there was one that was born in Yellowstone,
and that was a natural white.
Yeah, it was a natural white, and all of a sudden it just disappeared, so nobody knew what happened. And then I asked while we were there, and they said that it had fallen into a river, and it had drowned and been washed down, but they just didn't release that information because it was such a anomaly for that thing to even be born.
That's crazy.
But yeah, there's a website that has a list of all the true white bison in the United States, and it's a handful. There's 12, 15 of them maybe.
That's crazy.
And the majority of them are up in Montana, Wyoming, up in that area. So they're a long ways away.
It's so wild. Like, oh, that's your phone. You're fine. No, you're fine. I thought it was mine. Oh, my bad. I should have just kept the composure. As far as the bison then, since you have reached out to so many tribes and things, how has that Native American connection been for you? Because that's an ongoing relationship that you're building.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the main one that I have is with Tommy and the Cheyenne, Arapaho. And it's special because they've let a white guy in there, and take photos, and I've given them photos for their offices and stuff, and it's humbling, I guess, maybe, that they've allowed me to do that. Because I've had I was going to work on a shoot with a young lady that was Native, and she was told by one of the elders, "Don't do it because he's white. He's not Native. There's plenty of Native photographers." So don't shoot with him. So, you hear stuff like that, and then you feel a little more special that you're allowed to be a part.
It's kind of shocking too sometimes when you're talking with natives. I'm Native myself, but when I hear like the color difference, it's so stern sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, because like some of my family members, when they're like telling old stories, they'll be like, yeah, so these white boys. And I'm just like, dang, like
the white man.
And then I'm like, that's me a little, or that half and half or whatever. And it's so funny to hear it because it's a different perspective.
It is.
So for you to say that about the elder, I mean, it's not surprising. There's a lot of collaboration, obviously. You built it with the Cheyennes, but
yeah, and I did a big shoot out there. I got a lot of people together and invited a lot of people out, and we were welcomed a lot.
That's how you push the culture.
Yeah.
How were you always interested in Native Americans, or just like the wildlife photography, it just came in front of you and now you've built on it?
That's what it is.
How do you feel learning about it now?
It's interesting.
Right.
And it's something that I've never even really thought about. But looking at it now, I mean, it's special. I mean, it's a totally different culture than what I'm from. And I don't know that I've ever met people that are more welcoming, because I've shot powwows before too. And one of the powwows I went to up at Oklahoma State, I mean, I don't know that I've ever been more welcomed by a group of people than that group. I mean, it was very much thank you for being here. And I mean, they even brought me into the circle of the powwow and laid a blanket at my feet, and everybody walked by and dropped money on the blanket. And I don't even know how to describe that one. Because then as I walked out of the circle, the organizer came and said, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen at all. So then that gives you perspective. You're like, oh, I love the Native culture. And
that honor just means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your first powwow or no?
That was my first powwow.
That was your first powwow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. We got to dive into that. So what was it like hearing the drum and all that? Because the drum will change your life.
Oh, absolutely.
What was that like? Just take me through you walking in. Because walking in, it's already stimulation to the max.
Yeah, well, I walked in and it was inside a building. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't outside. There wasn't fire, and and they had multiple drum groups that would play. And I had to stay outside the circle. I mean, I walked up to the organizer and I said, "This is my first powwow. What are my rules?" They said, "There are no rules except for do not step into the circle." And I can't remember, there was something when I couldn't shoot, and I can't remember what it was when I couldn't shoot. I don't remember. But there was a time that I could not shoot.
It's probably ceremonies.
Yeah. And so I would walk around the outside and shoot. And it was, being my first powwow, it was interesting seeing it.
And that's a big one, so that's a lot to see.
There was a lot of people there. It was full. And then I'm shooting outside, and this elder, it was multiple tribes that were involved.
Yeah, it's intertribal.
And he came, he's like, come on. I'm like, no. And he said, it's disrespectful for you to say no. And I'm like, okay.
Sometimes you follow the rules, you listen to what you're told. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was told by a totally different person, don't go inside the circle. Mm-hmm. And then I have one of the elders telling me, come in the circle. I'm like, am I never going to be invited back? I mean, am I okay going in?
Yeah, but you got to listen.
And so I kind of glanced over there, and he kind of nodded at me. And so I went into the circle, and they gave me a gourd, yeah, to
like a
shake.
shaker, right?
Yeah. And they were dropping money at my feet, and it was, I don't know how to explain it.
And when was this? Just recently? A year ago?
A couple of years ago, year and a half ago, maybe 2 years.
See, that we were talking about it earlier, just when you're trying to follow the path that's laid out for you, these connections come in. Mm-hmm. And to be in that powwow and then accepted in the circle. But what did you think of like the regalia and how they were dressed? What did you think?
It's beautiful. I mean,
there's so much.
The colors.
Or like the girls that jingle dance. Like there's so much.
It's almost overstimulation. There's so much going on. It's so loud. Everything's moving. They're spinning.
Colors.
The colors. I've had a couple of the photographers say, I've been asked to go to a powwow and I haven't gone. I said, you don't know what you're missing. You need to do it. Reach out to whoever you need to and go do it, because it's just different.
It'll be cool in the future this year or whenever it happens when me and you go to some together.
Yeah.
It'll be really cool to see.
Absolutely.
We kind of paused on it, but on the drum, what'd you think? When they're banging on it and they're singing those songs, it's insane, right?
It is. I mean, you don't know what they're saying because they're speaking native, like ceremonial, ancient type of songs. But
yeah.
The loudness, because it's not just one person drumming. It's a group of, 6 or 8 around a drum, of a big drum. And they are hitting it hard. And
it's just bang.
It is.
Bang,
it is.
Bang.
It's very interesting. That was my first, you'd seen it on TV and you've seen it in videos.
Nothing like feeling it.
No, because you can feel the sound waves.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
You can see my hair standing up. Yeah. Those booms.
It is. It's very interesting.
It's crazy. I'm so happy that you got to experience it.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
One time my wife and I went to Scissortail because they were doing a powwow, but it was just more condensed. It wasn't like where you were, where it was all day.
Right.
And we were out there listening at Scissortail, and she said, "Hey, lay down, just close your eyes." Because usually I'm watching. And she was like, "Hey, lay down, close your eyes." And excuse me, she's never led me wrong. So I just always take that guidance. I just laid down, took my shoes off, closed my eyes. I listened to that drum for like 15 minutes. Yeah. I almost felt like I was floating. And my grandpa used to tell me that when I was young and be around it, I would just be bobbing my head. And that drum is special. And then the cadence of the songs, how that one guy kind of leads, right? And then they repeat it. And it's like, I keep saying goosebumps, but you felt it. You're almost like floating. You feel not really there.
It's interesting. It's definitely like a feeling you've never felt before. I got to the point where, I'm sitting right on the tape line and they're coming by and there's so much going on with the colors, the noise. It's just, and the action. I caught myself missing shots because I was watching rather than being in the moment rather than getting the shot that I was actually there for.
Easy to.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost.
It is.
I went to one recently. Well, I say recently, but it was like August. It was the Oklahoma City Powwow Club. One of my aunties had invited me and I went out there and I was just sitting by myself by a tree with a little bit of sage burning and just watching it by myself, just in the mode. And I was like, I wonder what people think. Come by. They see this guy that just got off his motorcycle with a little bit of sage burning, just watching. They're like, who is this kid? But it was so powerful, and it had been a little bit since I had been around it, and it's just instant. It brings you back in. Was there anything else you noticed while you were there? Any of the ceremonies or people talking or anything that stood out to you?
Like I said, it was very welcoming. I mean, everybody talked to me. And they were very thankful that I was there. I mean, I probably got thanked 100 times. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And, I shared my photos, but I don't know that I made a giant impact on anybody, but I mean, they were very welcoming and thankful.
Did you have some fried bread?
I did.
Thank goodness.
I did. Yeah, they fed me.
That smile when I said that is hilarious. You're just like, I remember that taste.
Yeah, because in the morning session prior to eating was when they called me out into the circle. And so then at the food break, they came up to me and asked me to eat with the elders. And so I ate with the elders, which was, as my very first powwow, I'm thinking, well, this is kind of cool. It doesn't happen.
No, it's not normal.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
But that's a testament to your character, and the word that's screaming at me is intention. You had pure intentions, and maybe their ancestors are acting through them. Yeah. Their elders, they're connected. It may not even be them.
Right.
It's showing, it's that energy of positivity. That's why when we were out in Concho, you're like, I'm just trying to read you. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm pretty normal. And then we end up being friends. Yeah, and right. That's how it is with that. Obviously it was on a bigger scale, but they're like, no, you seem good coming to the circle, and figuratively and literally, which I just think is such a blessing, because you not only were in Yellowstone getting unique activity or unique experiences, but the same for the powwow, first powwow and all of that. Like, man, that's intense.
I think, not to toot my own horn, but I think I'm very respectful around stuff that I don't know.
You don't know how huge that is. And I know other people can speak for their experience. One for me was we were going hunting, and the night before we hunted, I wanted to do a blessing for everyone, because we're going to be out in the woods. You want to be safe. You want to be protected. You want to get presented the chance that you're supposed to, so that you're doing it honorably. There's all these steps for me. And one of the guys we didn't really know in the group, which we don't usually have people outside the group, but it was an extended person's person. But we were doing the blessing, and he was like, what are you all doing? And I was like, hey, man, just chill. And I was super nice. I was just like, hey, just be quiet. And then he said it again. I was like, hey, just be quiet. Then he said it again. I was like, hey, bro, shut the fuck up. And then he froze. But there's that, which is the far negative. And then there's you. And I think when people are more open to it, not only native culture, but just anything in general. Just like when you were just recently in New Mexico, that's a blend of cultures itself.
Right.
You'll get invited into experiences that you never would if you're just closed off.
Right.
So I think it's such a blessing that you've only done it 7 years. The bison about 4 years, but you've already been to Yellowstone in these powwows, in these tribes, herds.
Right.
Like, what a blessing.
It is.
And I know it's weird to toot your own horn, but what an accomplishment.
Yeah. It's been quite a ride. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
What do you think you look forward to next as far as your journey through it? Are you going to continue to go to powwows or continue to search out more and more bison across the nation? Or like, what are your thoughts?
I don't know.
Just taking it day by day?
Yeah, whatever comes around. I mean, something will come up on Instagram or Facebook or something, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that might be cool to reach out to.
What a way. What a way to live.
Yeah. Because I do have a lot of connections now. So, I mean, like if I want to go shoot tomorrow, I just reach out to Tommy and say, hey, let's just go out to Concho and we'll go shoot. And he'll go out anytime I want. But yeah, it's just almost like go where the wind takes you.
Were you always like that growing up?
No, I'm very structured. I'm OCD, structured. I mean, no, it's not me at all. So that's why it doesn't even make sense.
And it's
I have patience and yeah.
It's just that one passion gets all these other versions of you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I don't sit well. And like I told you, I was in New Mexico this last weekend and I was sitting on the rim of the Rio Grande Gorge by the bridge. And I just sat there for 3 hours.
That's so long too, right?
Oh, it's a long time. But time gets away from you when you're sitting there and just thinking and just enjoying being in the moment of where you are. And that is such a amazing place. You feel so small. We talked about that before we started recording that, I mean, you're sitting on the rim of this giant gorge and it's 560 feet down to the water and you feel so small that it's almost, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just, you just sit there and enjoy being there. Yeah. And it's quiet. I mean, you hear the wind,
the water,
and you hear the water. That's it. That's it.
I'm glad you brought up New Mexico because it's so special to me too. But that gorge is gorgeous. You were showing me the pictures and just seeing that water run through, the little bit of snow, just knowing the feeling. It's a special place. I'm glad that there is like-minded people that share that passion for it because it's special. But you did speak on a place north of Cuesta that's taller. What is that?
The La Junta Campground, Upper La Junta Campground. It's probably my favorite place on earth. I love the place.
Did you stumble across it or you went there on purpose? Or?
No, I went there 20-something years ago because I was fly fishing up in the Taos area. And we fished at the Red River Fish Hatchery. We didn't fish in the hatchery.
we were killing them.
We caught a lot. No, I walked down, the Red River, and then I came to a bend, and you just can't get past it. I mean, it's sheer walls and it's deep water, so you just can't get past it. So I look on the map and I see where it all goes down. I'm like, oh, the confluence of the Red and the Rio Grande are further down, which you can't get. I couldn't figure out how to get there. Someone may know how to get there. And so I started, researching it, and you drive up to this, the La Junta campground, and there's a point. And I showed you that picture earlier. And whereas I was sitting on the edge of the Rio Grande Gorge down by the bridge, it was 560 feet when I took the drone down in there. Up at the La Junta, when I took the drone down there, it was 860. So it's a lot. And I've hiked down the switchbacks and fished down there. So I fished down there one time and I've probably been there 10. The other times are just up top.
Just to feel it.
Just look. Yeah. And I've been there multiple times before I was a photographer. To stand there. Cause it's down by Taos in the gorge by the bridge. It's wide, but it's nothing like it is up higher.
It's interesting.
It's really wide. It's just on a totally different scale. You feel even much smaller.
It's wild too because there's that width of the gorge, obviously, but in that area, there's a lot of flat before it gets to the bowl of the mountains.
Yep.
So even when you're pulling into Taos, you see the Rio Gorge
You
Bridge
do.
before you go all the way around. But from where you're at, it's just so vast.
It is.
So there's like the Grand Canyon or Palo Duro Canyon or that type of vastness where it's so flat and deep and you're just like, wow. But when it's that mix of landscape, that's why I think New Mexico is so special, that desert forest, that it almost doesn't look real. You see like 6 or 7 different landscapes in one field of view.
Yeah, I did take the drone at the rim of the gorge. And it's an odd perspective because it is just dead flat. And then there's mountains in the background. And then as you're flying, there's this just big hole, this big ravine running through it that's 600 feet deep with a large river that looks like a stream in the bottom of it because it's so big.
Yeah, it's when we're pulling into New Mexico, I think it's after Santa Fe. So after Santa Fe on your way to Taos, there's a place where you can pull off, and there's usually people that fish over there too, but it's part of the Rio Grande right there. Every time we get to that point, my wife and I always make sure to at least get our feet in, if not jump in, just to like say we made it and we're restarting and that water refresh. But that whole area, that, what is it, the Enchanted Circle or something, that is special.
Yeah, probably 30% of the drive from Santa Fe to Taos is running parallel with
You're right
the
next
Rio
to it.
Grande. You're right next to it.
And then you have those, not cliffs, but maybe cliffs.
It's mountains.
Yeah, they're
just
mountains
straight-
just right there on
right
the
on the
side.
other side of the road. I mean, it is water to mountains.
Have you had any special, or not special, but unique experiences with wildlife out there?
No,
Not yet.
I know there's bighorn sheep up by the bridge, but I've yet to see them, and I've been there quite a few times.
Well, after the podcast, I'll have to look it up, but I got a card given to me from a Native American that was selling some jewelry in Taos.
Okay.
And he was connected with the tribe, and they have bison stuff.
Oh,
Maybe we can look at that and see if we can connect the dots.
absolutely.
Yeah, it just popped into my head because I remember he said, if you ever want to get involved, like see an experience on how they butcher them or just be around them, I do tours. Maybe we can connect.
Absolutely.
the dots.
Let's do it.
I forgot about that.
I would love that.
What drew you to Taos and Santa Fe area that first time 10 years ago? Just random?
It was about 25 years ago.
25, sorry.
23, 25, fly fishing.
So, okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, the rivers, the streams, they're amazing.
One time we were leaving the woods past Red River,
Uh-huh.
and we looked in the river, and there was tons of trout. I'm like, this looks fake. I've never seen this in real life.
Yeah.
So I can imagine.
Oh, it's an amazing place. It's amazing.
You said it's one of your, or that point
yeah.
is your favorite place in the world.
It is. The La Junta Campground. Yeah, the Upper La Junta Campground is my favorite spot because it's just,
That's so cool.
it's hard to explain. It's so huge and you're so small.
I'm glad that you say you're not like this in other areas of your life, but you've been able to find such a state of peace.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I'm not a peaceful person.
Right.
I'm so uptight all the time. Yeah.
maybe that's what you need.
Constantly thinking and don't sleep a lot, but it's just peaceful
Yeah.
when you're out shooting wildlife.
You have any other crazy stories from when you were shooting? Because I know you've seen the wolves. Like, that's pretty wild. Anything else? Tell me about that. Sorry to cut you off. Tell me about that time with the fire and all the dancers at Concho.
That's the shoot I put together.
That's Concho, right?
It was at Concho. Tommy helped me get that arranged.
Was that the Sundance?
It was, we built a big fire, and I had probably,
Because Mike Hearn was there. He
Yep,
told me,
yep,
right?
Mike was there with, This is Oklahoma podcast. And I had a drone operator who had a massive, he's got a big commercial drone. Huge. I had 3 or 4 photographers. I had people from the museum down off the river.
Okay.
I had 4 dancers. And
From the Cheyenne Arapaho tribe?
No, there was one Cheyenne Arapaho and the others, I can't remember what tribe they were from. It's on my Instagram page.
And you put the whole...
I put the whole thing together.
Wow.
We had a screenwriter. because we were going to put like a video together, which we probably still will. We had one of the elders and the chiefs was there. I had a couple artists, like bead artists, painting artists. They were there. Gosh, there was probably 25 of us there that were, and
it was at night, I'm guessing, with the...
It was at night, and we had dancers in front of the fire, and
And someone playing the drums, all that.
No, there was some music.
Oh my gosh.
It was, and then we had the bison. And we actually, my whole intent was to spread feed up along the ridge. And so the bison would be, standing behind the fire and the dancers, but it got dark a little quick. So I have maybe 2 shots of the silhouette of a row of bison behind the dancers. But yeah, it wasn't exactly what I wanted because we delayed it too much setting up. But man, the photos we got.
What was the experience like? It had to be moving, right?
It was, but it wasn't like being at the powwow because it was very staged. The dancers like, okay, do this, and they come a little closer. I mean, so you're kind of guiding people what to do rather than going to a powwow and you're there as an observer.
And you're being included.
Yeah. We were guiding things rather than observing. So, but it was still, it was still pretty cool. And some of the photos are just crazy.
It's interesting to not only find those different versions of yourself as far as patient and being able to sit still and all these things, but also just getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Trust in yourself, believing in yourself, trust in the universe, trust in God, and just knowing like, I'm going to take this next step. Even though I'm the white guy at the powwow or I'm the so-and-so at the tribe. Like, what an accomplishment, man.
Yeah. And getting connected with the tribes was 100%, shooting bison. Because that's where a lot of them are. They have tribal herds, and that's how I got connected. I've never had connections with natives, and I just haven't.
And now it's just normal.
It is.
Do you have any plans? I know you said you're just going to go where the wind takes you, but do you have any plans to like talk to more tribes about bison, or is it just you really just follow the flow?
I just kind of follow the flow. I've reached out to a couple others that have said they were going to, have me out, and we ended up not being able to match up and stuff like that. But my go-to right now is pretty much the Cheyenne Arapaho. That's kind of where my relationship is. But yeah, I'm always open to doing other stuff.
Have you done any other types of activities with the Cheyenne Arapahos?
I have not. I've been invited out, but the plans didn't match up, and there's limited stuff you can do. When they're in their ceremony, you can't be out there, which would make amazing photos, but it's not allowed.
Well, other than that, were there any other stories about your photography experiences that you think come to mind? You have some pretty cool ones though, especially for a short amount of time.
Yeah. It's there's always something. Shooting bald eagles down by Lake Tenkiller in Vian and Oklahoma. It's just, there's just.
Yeah, wasn't that when you said you had to walk?
Yeah. I'm driving up to into this to the refuge, and I see one up in a tree, and it's in a tree by the river rather than by a nest. And so I'm like, okay, it's fishing. And so we park probably 50 yards away from it. And so I am holding my camera at my face, and each step I'm taking a picture because I know it's going to fly away at some point.
Yeah. And you want that.
And I do.
Yeah.
Change my shutter speed because I'm ready to start grabbing that flight. And I walk and I'm taking pictures, and I keep passing it, and I'm like, it's not moving. It's not going anywhere. And so I walk out, and then I walk out into the field, and I'm walking towards the tree, and it's still not going anywhere. It's just sitting there just looking at me. And I got hundreds of photos. And then it finally turned its head. It must have seen something in the river, and it takes off. And then I got my flight shots. There's just something every time.
How majestic are those to see?
Oh, they're huge birds. You don't realize how big they are. They are huge.
And you're pretty close.
Graceful, yeah.
But
Yeah, that thing was probably 40, 50 feet up above
close.
me. Yeah.
It's such a spiritual creature. I mean, that day we did the blessing, I used the eagle feather I got from the bird sanctuary. And
that's one place I want to shoot is the bird sanctuary.
Yeah. The one I'm talking about is Sia. So it's down in Surreal.
Okay, this one's up north somewhere.
Okay, well, maybe we can connect on the other one.
Yeah,
but
I'd love to.
On the bald eagle, just to share a story with you, we went to Oregon last July, and it was kind of the first time that my grandpa's side of the family and us got together after he passed. And we're sitting there, and I have a really nice recording on my phone, and it's me, my cousin Ohia, my cousin Maikai, and then Ohia's fiance, soon-to-be wife. Her name's Claire, but they call her Mave, which is Comanche for like fucking stuff up. And it's so funny because when we were there, she literally walked through a screen door. So it's hilarious. And my grandpa gave her that name. But we're sitting there, and my tutu's there, my grandfather's wife, and we're talking about going hiking, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna just relax and do old lady things." And we're like, "Cool." And she said, "But I think your papa's gonna be with you today." I was like, okay. And like, when I used to have these experiences or see it on movies or TV or something, you're like, yeah, whatever. But since I got more in tune with that side of my presence, it's frequent. And she says that, and we leave and we're driving to Smith Rock from Bend, Oregon. And right when we pull into the Smith Rock National Park, or maybe it's not a national park, but whatever it's called, as soon as we pull in, there's an eagle circling by the entrance, a bald eagle. And then my dad's like, "You see that?" And in our culture, we take that as that being like my grandfather or whatever ancestor fits that moment, really. And he was like, "There's your papa." And I was like, "That's crazy. Like, Tutu said that today." So then we start hiking, and me and two cousins go to the top. Before we get to the top, I find a boulder and I climb to the top of it, and I call my dad, or my dad calls me, because how Smith Rock is set up, all the hiking's on these huge mountain faces. And there's a little gorge, and then there's a parking lot that's higher than the gorge. So you're almost eye level to just see everything. So it was the most unique hike because my dad and aunts and everybody are literally sitting and they can watch us from 1,000 yards away. So it was really interesting. But he calls me when I'm on top of that rock, and he said, "You see that eagle? I think your papa's telling you to get off that rock." And I look up, and there's another eagle. And then when we get to the top, me and my two cousins, there was two more eagles. And there were a mix of golden eagles and then just the one bald eagle. But it was so powerful. And like for you to have your experiences with the eagle and the bison and the wolves, and I just love that me and you can experience that.
Absolutely.
Because it's unique, it's powerful, and if you're too much in a rush or not open enough, those moments don't come. But it's nice to share the space with people that have done it and have experienced it.
You just have to put yourself in the moment and be open to waiting, and you'll get what you're looking for.
Well, I'm so happy that we got to spend time together before, but I was really looking forward to this, and I just enjoyed it.
This is great. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. And I can't wait to have you on again and to also build on our experiences. I hope to be able to connect you to these people that I'm getting connected to and find a way to get that culture pushed even more.
I'd love it.
But
that'd be great.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
No problem.